Hello. You just reached MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires. Your patience while holding is appreciated. We're currently tying up phone lines and burning through cell minutes to bring you the finest news from the hottest crews on the NASCAR circuit. Thank you for holding. You are now being connected to your hosts. Here's Robbie Mays and Kit Cruz.
Welcome, everybody, to MRN Crew Call here on MRN.com, where it's always presented by Hercules Tires. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm Robbie Mays.
What happened to Tony?
I don't know.
I'm always the last to know.
You're always the last to know.
I'm Kid Cruz.
I'm Robbie Mays. He's Kid Cruz. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday, and thank you for hanging out with us here today on MRN Crew Call. Big show to get to today. A lot of stuff going on. This is what happens when you try to do live TV, folks. You book a guest, you don't hear back from them, you book somebody else, you get that other guest, and then you're totally just, all your time is taken up. But, Kid, big show today. Brian Pattie,
wow,
crew chief of the number 17 Fast and All Ford for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, will join us here shortly. If that wasn't good enough, Justin Alexander, crew chief for Austin Dillon's number 3 Dow Chevrolet, he's going to be here later on. And then we'll wrap up the show today with Dillon Welch, MRN announcer. He will be on the broadcast of this weekend's UNOH 175 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Saturday at 12:30.
We've had some good shows with Tony, but we've never had a show like this.
3 shows.
Me. Can you stick around? Can you come back next week?
Maybe.
Let's see if you can, keep it going. A little hot streak here.
We'll see.
I like that.
I'm auditioning right now, so we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I've already done the show.
Back over to you on this camera here.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, big show today. So, Kid, let's not waste any more time. A lot of stuff going on in the news and NASCAR. We'll talk about that here later on. But before we get to all of the news about racing, let's talk about some country music. And this week's crew cut here on MRN Crew Call, I've heard of his stuff. You know more about him than I do, Kip Moore.
Are you happy with my choice this week, Kip Moore?
I'm still waiting for
Do you have
Garth
his
Brooks.
new album yet?
I'm still waiting for Garth
His
Brooks.
new album is called Slow Heart. You
Okay.
know the new single on the radio, though, More Girls Like You?
More Girls Like You.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, it's been a few years. Kip Moore, like 2014, 2015, it's like you'd run into him like every 6 months. He'd come through town here in Charlotte, North Carolina. He went away for a little while, and now he's back. He's doing some festivals around the country. He's going to be going to the UK. But my big question one of the big questions I asked him, actually, that we'll ask him here, he can talk about here, is when are we going to see a Kip Moore headlining tour back here in the United States?
Yeah, this fall is the headlining tour. It's gonna be me and Drake White, and
that's a good show.
Taking out another guy named Jordan Davis. I'm a new guy, and me and Drake have been talking about touring together for a long time. So we're both pretty stoked about this tour.
How much of a NASCAR fan are you? Because if you're not like a full-on hardcore NASCAR fan, hang out with Drake, man. He'll school you. He'll educate you.
Yeah, I
Good
know
old
he
Talladega
is.
boy.
After hanging out I went up and hung out with Chase Elliott up in Michigan, and Speedway up there, and I became a lot more of a fan, just watching all the intricacies that go into building up the car and tearing it down, and all the just talking with him about what all goes into a race, and then watching him race, and I had an amazing time. I was pretty blown away.
I like that. We have a newer NASCAR fan thanks to Chase Elliott and Kip Moore hanging out. A lot of questions. He really has some challenges and some gripes these days about social media. We'll talk about all that on NASCAR USA this weekend. Go to MRN.com, look at the stations tab. You can actually find a list of radio stations where you can hear NASCAR USA this weekend.
So his new song is More Girls Like You.
Yep.
In past years, Something About a Truck.
Right.
And my personal favorite, Beer Money.
We were just discussing that before
We were.
the show started.
I
can't
love Beer
believe
Money.
that you actually have to pay for your beer. Thanks to Mike, by the way, last night. That was my free beer source last night. Mike, I appreciate it. That's all I got.
My phone didn't ring. That's all I'll say. My phone did not ring. All right, so anyway, teased it earlier. Coming up today, Kid, big show. Brian Pattie's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. Justin Alexander, Dillon Welch. A lot of NASCAR news has come out this week, most notably, and we'll talk to Dillon about this later on. Casey Kane is moving to Levine Family Racing, the number 95 car next year. Your thoughts on silly season so far? Casey Kane is just the most recent one to move teams for 2018.
What about Michael McDowell? Look, obviously they wanted a little better performance out of the 95, right? And Casey Kane, he's in the playoffs. He has some big wins in his career, so why wouldn't you get him in that car? But I love watching Michael McDowell race. He has some good, strong finishes every now and again, right? The plate tracks he does pretty well. So where now will Michael McDowell end up?
That's a very good question. We will.
Where will Matt Kenseth end up?
That's also a very good question. We'll
Is
find
Eric
out more.
Almirola going to be in the 43? Do you have these answers?
I don't have these answers.
All right.
But you talked about play tracks, and we'll talk to a guy who's crew chief, a driver who has won 2 races on restrictor plate tracks here in the 2017 season. Brian Pattie, crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse, will join us next here on MRN Crew Call.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you or your family love the freedom of swimming any time of year, if you love sharing good times and making great memories, or if you want one of the best total body workouts ever, then it's time to discover the 3 C's of your very own endless pool. The first C is convenience. Imagine swimming year-round in your own private swimming pool, installed indoors or out, just steps away. The second C is comfort. With sculpted spa seats and your own adjustable temperature, you can easily escape the stress of your day. And the third C is cost. Your endless pool is an affordable luxury at a fraction of the cost of a regular pool. And here's a bonus C, choice. Because when you call for your free Endless Pool Idea Kit, you'll receive information on our full line of pools to suit your budget and location.
Call now for free information. 800-283-8089. 800-283-8089.
You've reached MRN Crew Call. Please deposit 25 cents to be upgraded to more quality programming. Otherwise, here's Robbie Mays and Kit Cruz.
If you're looking for more quality programming, you can check out the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show Friday at noon here on MRN.com.
You come on my show to plug your show?
I did.
Nice move. Nice move.
That's what I'm here for, folks. Hope you're enjoying the show so far today. Let's go to the phone lines right now, bringing the crew chief of the number 17 Fastenal Ford for Roush Fenway Racing and driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Brian Pattie joins us now. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. We're doing great, man. You guys are in the playoffs. 2 wins on the season. I know Chicago did not go exactly to plan, but you guys started out pretty decent on Friday, I thought, and into Saturday. Kind of briefly talk about the race. I know, I think you got into the wall at one point. You had to make some unscheduled pit stops. Talk about how Sunday's race played out for you guys.
Yeah. It didn't execute like we had talked all week about. The first 3 races. It seems like we thought we could get through the first round of the playoffs by just executing and doing the obvious things right, and we didn't do that too well on Sunday. Car had really good speed. It just was really hard to drive, and we could never get it really calmed down for Ricky. And he got a little loose into one and got in the fence a little bit, and that happens. So came down unscheduled, which still segment racing, and everyone's got a pit. So I just was going to be a little bit earlier than normal. And then we had a commitment line violation, so I had to do a pass through. So I put you another lap down. So kind of tends you toward the aggressive, trying to get your laps back. And, toward the end of the race, we did it again and got caught speeding on another green flag pit stop. So all in all, it was a terrible day as far as execution, but I feel like we've been given a gift by being only 4 points out right now.
So how do you rally the troops? How's that been going in the shop this week? Are they coming back going, man, we know we can be better. These 2 races, we got this. How was that mood on Monday and Tuesday, or now going into the weekend?
Yeah, Monday mood was probably not so good, but Tuesday and obviously today, yeah, we're focused on Loudon. We had a pretty decent car in the spring. Had damage, had to start in the back after segment 2. So really, as a short race, and I think we restarted like 28th, 29th, and drove the 14th. Shows that we had speed, and we're gonna just try to execute. We're gonna try to obvious things right this weekend that we did not do in Chicago, and that's to qualify well or better than we did in Chicago, and then get a car driving where you can run 80 laps and not struggle. So the segment racing at Loudon, you can go the whole stint. So it's really about qualifying and getting some stage points would be huge for us.
And we know that if you can make it to the next round and get to Talladega, obviously Ricky would love to sweep Talladega this year. He's talked about it, and you would definitely be an odds-on favorite. It would be one of the juniors, right? People are going, well, it's going to be Dell Jr. or Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winning this race. Are the next two races a real nail-biter, or are you guys feeling pretty confident that you can get through and then also score that win in Talladega?
Well, we just take it one race at a time. You can't change the way you've approached the first 26. If you've done a disservice to your team. It's we prepare every week as best as we can. Is it a nail biter? I don't know. I to be honest with you, I didn't look at points until Monday after Chicago and found out it was only 4 points. So, listen, stress will make you make poor decisions. So we're pretty calm. We're confident that we can execute, and if we do that, we'll be fine.
Brian, we're going to New Hampshire this weekend. We were there, 2 months ago, I guess, the middle of July. We have some tracks where we have close windows between that. Pocono, Michigan, their races are pretty close apart or close together. New Hampshire is always hot in the summer, and usually a little cooler in the fall, but this weekend we're going to see mid-80s on Sunday afternoon. Do you approach this race differently in the fall than you normally do in the July race?
Well, it's almost like the weather's inverted, these two races compared to previous years. So yeah, we'll go off past history, past knowledge, experience, hot slick racetrack, what it tends to do for balance, and plan accordingly. So we've already had meetings about Loudon and the weather and what to look for. It looks like Saturday's going to be a really nice day. Mid 80s, and then obviously Sunday a few degrees warmer. So happy hour will be huge. So currently we have no penalties, and I like to keep it that way, so we can, run last practice in its entirety.
When we go through weather swings throughout the course of a weekend, like we've seen it where it's been cool on Friday, warm on Saturday, and warmer on Sunday, and you've got your car working perfectly on Saturday, do you just want to pull your hair out on Sunday when the temperature and its conditions are completely different than what you practiced in?
Well, that, and you've at no time in practice is there 40 cars on the racetrack, so it's just track position. A lot of cars, air temp, obviously, clean air is huge in any racetrack we go to, especially a flat track like Loudon. So, it's obviously difficult every week, but Loudon's kind of extreme, and we just got to go off what we know and what we wrote down in our notes in the springtime and make the best judgment we can.
All right, well, Ricky Stenhouse finished 14th here back in July, and Brian, we wish you and him the best of luck Sunday afternoon at Loudon.
I appreciate it.
All right, that's Brian Pattie, crew chief for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. I know those guys, if they can just get through the next 2 weeks and get to the second round with Talladega, they're going to be a favorite.
I would love to see them squeak by.
Yeah.
I would love it. That'd be a great story, and have him win in Talladega and then going on to the next round. I think that would be a huge story in the playoffs, and probably unlikely and unbelievable in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah, and of course, folks, if you want to know what the playoff standings look like, how the playoffs work, we've got all of that. Easy for me to say at mrn.com. The playoff standings are right there on the homepage, and we have a playoffs 101 for you to get all your information about the NASCAR playoffs. We'll take another break. When we come back, Justin Alexander, crew chief for Austin Dillon in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. He joins us here on MRN Crew Call.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice, Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
While the weather may be cooling down, racing season is still heating up. Make the most of it with hot Creekstone Farms offers like 25% off all orders. Creekstone Farms premium Black Angus beef is raised and grazed in the USA, and that means you get the highest quality, finest tasting beef anywhere. At CreekstoneFarms.com, use promo code MRN25 off to get 25% off your entire purchase. Use promo code MRN25 off at CreekstoneFarms.com and get 25% off today.
So what are your favorite drivers really thinking? We'll tell you each weekday on NASCAR Today, midday.
Getting married has been incredible. I wish I had figured all this out sooner.
Get the latest news from the sport and the opinions of NASCAR's biggest stars.
Changing over to Ford will open up some opportunities and possibilities and some just pure potential for the team.
That's NASCAR Today midday, weekdays on the Motor Racing Network.
You've reached MRN Crew Call. This show may be monitored for quality assurance. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. This show may be monitored for quality assurance and training. I can't do it. I just can't.
Welcome back to MRN Crew Call here on MRN.com. Robbie Mays, Kid Cruz. We're going to make our first call of the day, our first crew call of the day. We're going to go up the road just a little bit here to Welcome, North Carolina, and welcome in the crew chief of the number 3 Dow Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. Justin Alexander joins us now on the phone. Justin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. We're doing great, man. Before we start talking about New Hampshire and the rest of the NASCAR playoffs, let's back up a few days to Chicagoland Speedway, the Tales of the Turtles 400. You guys came home with a 16th place finish to start the NASCAR playoffs. Talk about Chicago, how your car was, your thoughts heading out of the Windy City.
Well, it was a little bit of disappointment how it ended up, but we had a really good car there. We came off the truck. We were really good off the truck, and we qualified well. We ended up 9th in qualifying. We were 2nd in Q2, and we had a really fast car in qualifying. So race trim everything was good in practice. He was really happy with the car in practice. So just going in the race, we knew that we just needed to go and have a mistake-free race and go out. And we knew we had a solid top 10 car. We thought so. The first run we ran inside the top 10 there for that first whole run, and the first green flag stop, Austin, he tried to get a little too much on pit road, and we got caught speeding, and we had to come around to do a pass-through penalty, and that put us a lap down, and that ultimately, kind of sealed our fate for the day. We tried hard to get that lap back, and the way the race went, being as it went green most of the time, we just never could get the lap back. We were in the lucky dog spot a few times and never could get a caution. So the car was, it's kind of bittersweet. The car was really good. He was really happy with the car. We had a really fast car, solid top 10 car, if not a top 5 car. The way it worked out, the way it works out in this chase, you just can't make any mistakes. You can't make mistakes on pit road. The driver can't make mistakes. I can't make mistakes calling the race, and unfortunately we had one. So we had a little setback, but we came out of there, with 16th place finish, and it's not what we wanted, but it could have been a lot worse. So, we'll take it and we'll move on, and look forward to Loudon.
Yeah, your driver seems pretty excited about the trip up there to New Hampshire. I follow him on Twitter, and I don't know if you saw this, Robbie, a new way to crack a lobster. Austin Dillon, just go to his Twitter feed. You can do that right now while I'm talking about this. He cracked the thing open with a pumpkin, and it was pretty.
I have not seen that.
It was pretty clean, and it was pretty badass.
Really?
So I'm happy that he loves lobster. I don't want to see another driver afraid of the lobster in Victory Lane like Denny Hamlin. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said we'll be happy. We get anything in Victory Lane, I'm not. I won't be. I'm not going to be scared of anything. I'll take no matter what. I'll take a crocodile in Victory Lane.
I want to see you kissing the lobster. Yeah, that was going to be my question. How do you guys feel about the weekend? Can you taste that lobster already?
Yeah, we feel pretty solid about it. We had a decent run there in the spring. I thought we had a good car. We ended up 15th, and we didn't qualify very well. I think that was one of our qualifying. I think at Loudon is probably one of our weaker spots out of most tracks we go to, and so we're really focusing on qualifying this week. Track position means so much there, and where you start means a lot, especially with the way these races have been running green lately. You don't want to start in the back if you don't have to. So we're going to focus on qualifying. We're going to start in qualifying trim and do all we can to get a good starting spot. And I feel good about our race car. I feel good about race trim and race practice. The car we're bringing, he felt really good about it in the spring, and we got. Unfortunately, we got tangled up in a little bit of the 17 cut across our nose in the race and spun us out there about a third the way through the race. So we kind of had to go to the rear and kind of work our way back to the front. But we ended up 15th, and I feel like we had about a 10th place car there in the spring. So I feel good about what we're taking. We're taking better cars back, so I feel like we can have I feel good about a solid top 10. So we just need to go and do our thing, and once again, we just got to try to be mistake free, because the guys we're racing are so good, and we don't have a ton of experience in the chase. Second year for Austin and myself, so we got to go out there and do our thing. And just, try to eliminate the mistakes and execute, and I think we'll be all right.
Justin, this is your 4th year as a crew chief in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. You spent a few years with Paul Menard, came on board with Austin before the Coca-Cola 600 this year, and you won your first race with Austin Dillon in the 3-car. Kind of compare and contrast, because I hear, when crew chiefs switch drivers throughout the course of the year, how long did it take you and Austin to really kind of get your footing and figure each other out?
I'd say we're actually still working on that.
Okay.
It's a process. Every week we spend together. We learn more about each other. It doesn't happen overnight. We did win the Coke 600, and actually I thought everything went well in that race. And me and Austin have worked together in the past in Xfinity car a little bit, so we kind of already knew each other a little bit, and kind of knew he knew what I needed, and I know what he needs, and stuff like that. So, but I mean, you never get. I wouldn't say you ever get to a point to where it's completely comfortable as far as you're perfect communication. I think it just takes time, and sometimes it takes years. And the more you spend, the more time you spend with each other, the more you get to know each other, and the more you learn about each other. And it's like any other relationship, the more time you spend with someone, it just becomes better. So we have a good foot right now, and we understand each other. So I feel confident about where we're at with our communication. So just the more time we get to spend with each other, the better.
All right, well, Justin, good luck this weekend up at New Hampshire Motor Speedway to you and Austin Dillon. All of Richard Childress Racing. It seems like you guys have picked things up over the last handful of races. So good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right. That's Justin Alexander, crew chief of the number 3 Dow Chevrolet for Austin Dillon in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. When we come back, we'll have more of fun and games here on Wednesday here on MRN Crew Call. Stay tuned.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 250 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's Rob Tanner, host of America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Join us every weekend as we get you set for NASCAR racing with 2 hours of the hottest hits in country music. The Motor Racing Network's Woody Kane is here with NASCAR news, and MRN pit reporter Steve Post stops by to talk a little racing. We'll have features and highlights you can't get anywhere else, so be here each weekend for NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Keselowski to the bottom of the racetrack. He tries to slide up. Newman is there. Sideways is Keselowski.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Thank you for joining MRN Crew Call. If you know your party's extension, please send it along. I haven't been to a good one in years. Here's Robbie Mays and Kit Cruz.
I haven't been to a good party since Saturday.
Wow. I didn't get a call. Thanks.
I was in Chicago. And if you are having parties and if you need something to throw on the grill, well, we have the perfect deal for you. Do you want to save 25% on Creekstone Farms premium black Angus beef and all-natural Duroc pork? Yes, I do. Speed over to CreekstoneFarms.com. Use the exclusive promo code MRN25 off to get 25% off your entire purchase. That's MRN25 off. You see it right there on the screen at CreekstoneFarms.com. So, kid, we've talked to Brian Pattie.
Yep.
We've talked to Justin Alexander.
Yep.
Now it's time to
Kip
make
Moore. We talked to Kip Moore.
Now it's time to make the MRN crew call to Dillon Welch, who will be on the broadcast
What
on
up?
Saturday's UNOH 175 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Dillon, welcome to MRN crew call. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
So every time we have somebody new on here from the MRN gang, we always like to say, how do you? Like to ask them, how did you get your start in radio and with MRN? How did you get your start here with the Motor Racing Network?
Well, my story is probably quicker than a lot of the other guys because I haven't been there for very long yet. But no, my first race was Road America 3 years, 2015, and I'd been working for USAC at the time, calling some dirt sprint car and midget races as their public address announcer, and just kind of traveling around the country with them. And was in the middle of my second season doing that, and sent just a tape basically to I think it was Ryan Horn actually, and ended up getting an audition out of it at Michigan that summer, and must have done well enough for them to consider me, because we went to Road America and was on the team there, on the broadcast team there, and did Vegas later on that year as well, and from there it just kind of picked up steam. So it's always a privilege for me to announce with those guys and be part of this team. So as you said, looking forward to New Hampshire this weekend.
Good for you, man. So obviously this is in your blood, right? We Robbie didn't mention. I'm sure everyone could make the connection, though. Your father, of course, is very cool. Television broadcaster Vince Welch. But this was in your blood. Is this a true story? So back when you were like hanging out in your bedroom or in the family room and playing racing or NASCAR racing on the PlayStation 2, you were doing like fake race calls back then?
Oh yeah. And me and a good buddy of mine used to do that all the time. We'd play, whatever racing game it was, NASCAR or the old World of Outlaws PlayStation game.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we'd we would call the race. We would play and we would talk while we were playing, like we were the announcers, and we didn't really think anything of it. It was just something that we both kind of thought was fun to do. And so, and it was funny because, obviously you're just making stuff up as you go along.
Right.
And then when I went and did my audition, the weather was kind of funky at Michigan. It was raining kind of off and on. And so we were going to go out and audition myself during one of the practice sessions. And because the weather was kind of weird, there wasn't very many cars on the track. So we ended up having to just make something up for my audition. And I seriously think that all of those days of me making up those races on my PlayStation games helped me, feel like I was just back in my room playing video games. And so it was funny that everything kind of came full circle with that.
That's awesome. And you've done a little bit of racing yourself too, right?
I have, yeah. I started racing when I was 7, and started in quarter midgets and just kind of worked my way up through there. And don't really race very much anymore, just a couple times a year, just with. When I was at school, it was hard to balance that. Now that I'm living in North Carolina, there's not really much midget racing down here, which is what I do. But still run the Chili Bowl in January in Oklahoma, and a couple races before then, just to kind of knock the rust off. So it's more of a hobby now, but I'm thankful that I still get a chance every now and then to get back in the seat for sure.
And school was Ball State, correct?
Ball State, yes, sir.
David Letterman territory, isn't it?
The Fighting Football
right.
Cardinals, correct?
Yeah.
That's right. It's the David Letterman Communication Building up there. So, fine institution there in Muncie, Indiana.
Very nice, very nice. Speaking of fine institutions in the world of NASCAR, a lot of news this week from Hendrick Motorsports. First, Darian Grubb was named crew chief of the 5, and Casey Kane announced he's going to the 95 next year, and then Alan Gustafson is suspended for a weekend because of some tape that was added to the number 24 car on Sunday afternoon. Your thoughts on Casey Kane moving to the Levine family racing car in 2018?
Well, I think it's interesting, and obviously that team with Michael McDowell has certainly shown signs of improvement over the course of this season and previous seasons as well. So I'm interested to see how Casey does there, and obviously a lot of balls are still up in the air, kind of who his crew chief will be next year and all that sort of thing, but. It's a fresh start, certainly, and sometimes that's what it takes, and maybe it can kind of get Casey back on the horse a little bit and and maybe he'll have a good year running with those guys.
And we don't know who his crew chief is going to be next year. We know who it's going to be for the final 9 races of 2017. Darian Grubb won a championship, his 1 races. What do you make of this crew chief swap for Casey Kane? A lame duck situation at Hendrick Motorsports, and now you have a new crew chief coming in for the final 9 races, while he's still, by the way, in the NASCAR playoffs.
I like it. I mean, I think it, obviously, as you said, Darian, very well established in the industry as a successful crew chief, working with Tony Stewart in the past and all that. So, I think that I like it. I think the timing of it is interesting, certainly. But, what do you have to lose at this point? You got to maybe try something. Casey's kind of just been middle of the road this year. I mean, there's no denying that, apart from his win at Indianapolis, obviously. So I like it. I like that they're trying things and, that they're not kind of just throwing in the towel because he is leaving next year. So I'm curious to see how it all goes, and obviously kicks off this weekend at New Hampshire.
I think we're just about out of time. So, Robbie, can I squeeze in one quick question, maybe a little bit of advice for the new kid?
Okay.
Did you meet him? But he's been in the office. I've seen him one time in the office, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Take a stroll down like Main Street, Cube Land, as we call it there. Yeah. Dillon, the next time you come by, and don't be a stranger. You're welcome anytime. But being
I appreciate that.
Being the new guy and a bunch of radio guys in this building, at least walk in the building with a box full of donuts or something. That's all I'm saying.
I can do that for sure.
Or beer.
We accept both.
That works too. That's
donuts and beer.
Yeah, we accept
that
both.
works just as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dillon, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy New England this weekend. Hopefully you'll have good weather up there on Saturday afternoon. Hopefully we're going to have a good race for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series to kick off their playoffs for 2017.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. It was a fun race last year. William Byron obviously kind of put it to him, but it was exciting at the end with Christopher Bell kind of making a charge there. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting back with the guys, and we'll be on the air Saturday afternoon.
All right, Dillon, take care, buddy. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Dillon Welch joining us here on MRN.
I like that
Call.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. A lot of stuff going on today. Good show. Very good show.
Thanks, Robbie. I'm glad that you approve.
I'm so glad that you were here to carry this show.
We had all these great guests. Again, that hasn't happened in a while with Tony. No. Can you come back next week? Okay.
Yeah. A lot of stuff this week. We got the trucks on Saturday.
Tony Rizzuti.
Got the trucks on Saturday in New Hampshire. We got the late models for Martinsville Saturday night on MRN.com. Listen in at 7:34. Daryl Smith and Donald Culver. He's Kid. I'm Robbie. We'll catch you next week here on MRN Crew Call.
You've been listening to MRN Crew Call, presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Wednesday at noon on MRN.com or on the MRN app. MRN Crew Call is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or download it through iTunes or Google Play. MRN Crew Call is a production of the Motor Racing Network. Goodbye.